Lindsay. I'm doing pretty good. How are you? Hey, Andrew. How are you doing? Awesome. Glad y'all are doing good. Tonight, right now, I'm going to try and work on updating a couple of my older models that I know still need those updates. Integrating some of my newer joints and stuff so that they print a little bit easier. And then I need to work on some other flexies, but I haven't decided what yet. So we'll see. Hey Christian, how you doing? Hey, Maker Sanctum. Yes, I'm doing pretty good. How are you? And yet, pretty much all my work is done on Nomad. Every once in a while, I'll pull something from like Fusion 360 or Tinkercad or something like that. But I would say 98% of what I do is all Nomad. Yeah, I enjoy Nomad a lot. It's fun. It's an awesome program. Nice, that's awesome, Maker Sanctum. Yes, I do have some tutorials on Nomad if you ever want to check them out and try your hand at learning how to model. It's a lot of fun. Oh, nice, yep. Blender and the tablet for sure. Yeah, I didn't personally like Blender either, which is why I got into using Nomad personally. Yep, YouTube. Any generation of iPad download for Procreate? I think so, but I don't know 100% for sure exactly what all models are needed to run different programs. I would maybe look, see if you can find that answered on like the Procreate like Q&A website, or maybe Reddit or something like that. Might be able to help you. Nice, Maker Sanctum. Yeah, it's always so fun to be able to like come up with those ideas and then actually see them coming to life. It is my favorite. Digital, I don't know for sure because I don't use a mouse and keyboard for my modeling. I've heard people like Blender. I personally didn't like Blender very much just because I didn't feel like it felt very intuitive for me. But it does work for desktop, and it is also free, so it's not like, you know, you're not out anything. If you just want to give it a try, it's a good option. ZBrush is also a good one, but a lot more expensive than something like Nomad or Blender. I am using Nomad Sculpt. Oh, thank you, Maker Sanctum. I didn't know that about different apps and stuff. That's great. No problem. So I export all of my 3D files as an OBJ or an STL, and for me, I export everything to my Google Drive because I have a Windows PC. If you had like an Apple computer, you could do it like with an AirDrop, something like that. But for me, I just run everything through the Google Drive, and then I can open it up, you know, download it, open it up in my print slicer, and print it directly from there. I am using Nomad Sculpt. Yes, exactly, Maker Sanctum. Yeah, see, you have different knowledge and skill sets than I do. This is important to have. I don't often do commission pieces. Yeah, exactly. Agreed about Blender. Hey, Doug. I'm doing pretty good. How are you? And Print Crafts, the orca is done. He is testing right now. Here, hold on. Let me show you. Sorry, I bumped my thing. Get back in here. Details, details, even more details, honestly. Here, look it. Here, let me put my pen away. Here is the big one. So pretty. And here is the little baby. So cute. So these guys will actually probably be coming out later this week. They're in beta testing right now, so. Oh yeah, I'm glad you like the Lunar Panther. This is not the newest iPad. This is the 2021 iPad Pro. Oh my gosh, that's awesome, Printcrafts. Get the corgi booties are so fun. They're so cute. So updating the kitty cat, and we're gonna add a long-haired version of him. So let's add. Awesome, sounds good, Maker Sanctum. Thanks for stopping in, I appreciate it. Oh yay, that's awesome. Yeah, silky white on like the white animals looks so pretty. Yeah, I noticed that the Apple tablets tend to run like the illustration, any of the art programs, they tend to handle them a bit faster than the Windows tablets. Which I always tell people, I'm like, you know, like this is literally the only Apple device I own, and it's worth it for if you want to do a lot of design work because they're made very well for design stuff. But definitely depends on your budget. Yes, that's awesome, Doug. I love it. With lighter? I do not know what that means. I don't know what you're referencing. Scanner on iPad. I don't know. I haven't tried to let that before. So maybe, maybe not. Oh, that's awesome, Slash. Yeah, 3D modeling for your own stuff is a lot of fun for 3D printing. I do have some tutorials up in a playlist on TikTok or YouTube if you wanted to check them out. Where is my long-haired kitty cat? I'll open this one. Oh yeah, there's always new things coming out. All the time. Oops. Let's see. Aha, that's why. I was like, why did it do that? Let's open that. Let's add the long-haired kitty. Oh, that's awesome, Tom. It's fun to be getting into it and learning how to do everything. I don't think that the iPad can run Blender, but like if you make something in Nomad here, you can export it as a file that Blender should be able to read. exactly, Tom. I have not used 3ds Max, so I don't know for sure how that guy works. I've been doing this for about 2.5 years, and I would say it probably took me like 4 or 5 months, not necessarily to be proficient, but to at least have a pretty good understanding of what I was doing and like a pretty efficient workflow. But I mean, I'm still learning new things about Nomad all the time. And I sometimes use the iPad and use Clip Studio Paint and Procreate, which are 2D illustration apps on it. But primarily I use Nomad. It's the main purpose of my tablet. No problem. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Nope, not really. I do all my video editing on my phone just with CapCut for content and stuff. Hello, Vision. How are you doing? Oh, thank you. Awesome. I'm glad you're doing good. What you working on? And it probably took me like 4 or 5-ish months to get pretty comfortable with Nomad. But honestly, like, I'm still learning things all the time, so I wouldn't say, you know, I don't know everything. Yeah, Chris, I use a lot of photo references, especially if I'm working on different animals and stuff. I'll have, like, my desktop computer is over here, and so I'll have a screen full of reference photos up. And yeah, Eric, that makes sense. Some people just prefer to do the scanning of objects around their house and stuff and not modeling, you know, leave modeling to other people. Ooh, that sounds cool, Vision. Hey, Joe, sorry. Thank you. And here is how the mesh looks right now. Hey, Pyro. I'm using iPad, 2021 iPad Pro. And this is Nomad Sculpt. Oh my gosh. Thanks, Vision. Oops. No problem, Pyro. Hey, Ghost. Yes, it is articulated. And I use a Bamboo P1S and X1C printer. At the moment, I don't think it's geometrically neat, probably. I'll go back and decimate things and clean things up. But for me personally, since I just model for, you know, 3D printing, as long as the mesh isn't crazy, there's not crazy manifold edges, things like that, I don't mind too much if the mesh is a little messy. I'm using Nomad Sculpt. Yeah, no problem. Hey Leo, how you doing? Ooh, nice vision. Pigs with wings sounds fun. That's awesome. You talked about me? Oh no. And yes, wings are hard. Awesome, Leo. I'm doing pretty good. I just happen to prefer it just by looking at the camera. Like, where'd it go? Like, I don't know. I feel like it keeps it more even for me without as much warping. That could not be right, but that's just what I like. All good things. Super. Oh, thanks, Doug. Hey, Laura, how you doing? It's Nomad Sculpt. Yeah, thank you, Leo. I appreciate you putting that up. Gotcha, Erica. That makes sense. What do you mean Kirsten's singing while she draws live? I mean, I don't sing. I do hum often. Is that what you mean? Because that's possible. I will not be aware of it when it happens. Hey, Sherry. How you doing? Laura, you can get this in the App Store for just like $20 one-time fee. It's very affordable. The humming, yep. I mean, I'm sure I'm probably already doing it and just don't notice. Hey, thank you, Erica. I appreciate it. We ain't judging. I appreciate that. Yeah, see, now I'm noticing it. Now I'm self-conscious. One of my friends, when I would talk to her on Discord, she always used to say that they could always tell when I was in a good mood because I would hum to myself while I listened to music in between like gaming and chatting with them. Well, I'm glad it's nice, Leo. And thanks, Erica. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, so true, dude. 3D mouse? I don't know what you mean by that, Eric. Oh, hey, 3D pup. Thank you. Yeah, Doug, it was really funny. We were at a game night last week with some friends, and we just had like random music playing, like while we were playing games, and I started humming to it, and like it was just some random like instrumental song that I was not familiar with. I just happened to start humming along with the like with the, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, with the song. And my friend looks at me, he goes, "Do you know this song?" Because I was humming to it, and it was like a really random song. And I was just like, no, I just pick up and start humming to random things all the time. Like I couldn't explain it to you. Right, exactly. JJ, this is Nomad Sculpt. Hey, Jewel, how are you doing? Eric, I'm not sure about that for an iPad specifically. I just use the Apple Pen. I don't know that with the type of modeling that I do, if having a type of other tool would be any more beneficial to you than just having the Apple iPen. I mean the Apple Pencil. And yep, I do have a bamboo. Josh, I'm updating my kitty cat model, and I'm also making a long-haired kitty cat. Yes, exactly, Doug. And I'm doing pretty good, Jewel. Thank you for asking. I'm tired because we went to my husband's grandparents. Drove down the 5 hours to see them on Friday, did dinner and stuff with them Friday and Saturday, and got back last night. So I've been chilling and catching up on things today. Yep, there are a bunch of tutorials out on YouTube on Nomad Sculpt. I have a few tutorials out there, but there are other people who have more comprehensive tutorials as well. And yeah, it doesn't work directly with your 3D printer. You just export it as an OBJ or STL, and those files you can open up in your print slicer. Oh yeah, for sure you can still create. You can still learn, you know, make up things from your imagination, look at reference pictures just like I do, things like that. You can always learn. Oh my gosh, Jewel, that's awesome. Basically, I mean, any of my socials, like Facebook, Instagram, Discord, any of those places work, Jewel. Not ZBrush, this is Nomad. And yeah, Alien is also a good teacher. Oh my gosh, y'all. Y'all are so talkative. Hold on, let me catch up and make sure I didn't miss anything. JJ, I have my files up on Colts 30 things and my mini factory for purchase. There you go, Eric. And Josh, I don't usually do custom model work like that. I do actually have like a ton of dog files out there already, though. You might be able to find one that looks like your pup. If you look up on Colts 3D, you can find all of them. Yep, I'm using an iPad, and I have not personally used ZBrush, so I can't say like with 100% certainty. I have had people who have used ZBrush tell me that it's very similar and kind of like a simplified version of ZBrush. Oops. I've been using Nomad Sculpt and 3D modeling for about 2.5 years now. Oh, interesting, Robert. Yeah, you might end up liking Nomad a little bit better then. Ooh, that's cool, Eric. Yeah, see, I'm the type of person that, like, I'll run my technology into the ground, so my 2021 iPad still works perfectly fine, so I'm going to keep using it and not even consider upgrading. Oh, that's cool, Joe. I don't currently do commission work like that, though. But good luck finding someone to work with you. That sounds really cool. Possibly, Robert. I know that you can export these files as like an OBJ, STL file, and these other file types, and then you should be able to import them into any other 3D program that takes those file types. I'm not sure how easy it would be to go in and animate them from there, since that's not something that I do, so I can't say for sure. This is Nomad Sculpt. And thank you, Jewel. Yep, totally, Joe. Yeah, just because someone can 3D model in general doesn't necessarily mean that they can model for 3D printing. It takes a lot of extra skill. Not necessarily skill, just like knowledge base to understand how the printer's going to interact with a model. Hello, Phoenix. How are you doing? Robert, me and Blender do not get along. I don't like Blender, so, and I also don't animate, so there's no reason for me to try it, but power to you if you give it a try. And Smithy, a little bit of both. Like, all of my articulated models I have made from scratch, but some of them, like if I have an animal with very similar anatomy, I will use and start working off of a previous model that I had made. Does that make sense? So like I make all of my bases, but sometimes I'll reuse those joint types and links and stuff. Prepping to leave? Where are you going, Phoenix? Oh, thanks, Dean. Dean, that's why you gotta look at tutorials and stuff to help you out. I believe in you. Awesome, Robert. Thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your night. Smithy, I think that Nomad Sculpt is more user-friendly than Blender. When I was starting out, it felt a lot more intuitive. But, you know, that's just me, so I can't necessarily say for everybody. But I've heard that from other people, too, that they prefer Nomad starting out. It's a little bit easier to get the hang of, I think. But some people will swear by Blender. Oh, I'm glad this is educational, Joe. Yes, exactly, Vision. Thanks, literally. Yes, this is Nomad Sculpt. Exactly, Dean. It is really overwhelming at first. But honestly, I always encourage people to just like get in the program and start playing around and having fun. Just starting off with getting used to how all the different tools work and everything. And don't worry about trying to like create something immediately, just getting used to like how things work, you know? I always think that's a good place to start when you're looking into getting into like a new medium. Oops. Oops. Yay, thanks for the hearts, guys. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you. Red Kiln? Jupiter, those I've added myself. So basically you can copy any of these basic ones that you have up here and then go to alphas and you can import any type of texture that you want. And to make all sorts of different textures like these fur brushes that I'm using here. Dude, I know, right, Eric? Yeah, the programs like that are so expensive. This is Nomad Sculpt. Yes, exactly, Vision. Yeah, for sure, Dean. It's gonna take time and investment no matter what you are familiar with, you know? But you can get there, I believe in you. This is Nomad Sculpt, and literally, Cody, I do a lot of different stuff. I do enjoy a lot of dragons, and I do a lot of animals in general, nature-y type things. Like, you know, I'm working on this kitty cat right now, so I do a lot of different flexi animals, and I do some decor type stuff, a lot of fantasy or nature-inspired decor, dice towers, like... I got this little fox box that opens up like that. I kind of like have fun with a lot of things. I do some dragon puppets. More recently, I've done, let me think, let me look around. Like bookends, book nooks, yarn bowls, card deck boxes. I do all sorts of stuff, man. But pretty much all of it is going to be nature, animals, fantasy, dragons kind of stuff. Thanks, Moxie. For starters, there's a cool cat being made right now. And Vision, I believe I drew this brush. Let's see. And yes, I use a reference for most of my things. At least if I'm working on like a real life animal. This cat, I already have like a cat base that I had made, so I'm not using a reference for him at the moment. And a lot of my dragons I won't use references because I'll make it up in my head as I go. But like this orca I was doing a few days ago, I definitely used references for him and most other like real animals that I make. I've not done any Stitch models because I don't do any copywritten IP models. And yet this cat will be on my Patreon probably, I don't know exactly, in the next few weeks, I think. And I'm not copy pasting the texture. I have a brush that creates this texture as I go, basically. Yeah, there's no reference for some stuff, exactly. Yep, exactly, Dale. So if you know how to create brushes in Procreate, the system to create brushes in Nomad is extremely similar. Like you have that same alpha files over here that you import and then adjust how you want that brush to affect your texture, basically. Oh, yay, Snail and Rabbit, that's awesome. I hope you like them. They're so lovely. Midwest, I actually have a whole tutorial series and a playlist here and on YouTube for how I do a bunch of different types of flexi joints if you want to check those out. That'll be easier than trying to like quickly explain things here. The remeshing is, oh here, I'll show you. So basically, since this cat is an older file that I've already done, I've already decimated him down to have a lower resolution. So that means if I go over here, see how more chunky these fur sections are because it's a lower and not as even resolution for the remesh. So I'm going in and just remeshing all those little sections so I get this nice, smooth, more detailed fur texture. Yeah, so this is a funny thing, Vision. If I'm doing something like this where it's moving with the curve, I have it on local. but it does not, depending on how I move pieces around and all that while I'm in the middle of modeling, it does not always end up that my pieces settle in a way that I can use local and it works properly. So that is why, like this model, again, I'm working off of a cat that was already made. And usually with tails, they're pretty straightforward. I kind of keep my pieces in line as I'm curving them. But that's why you'll see a lot of my base models, they all stay straight along the line. So I can use my symmetry more easily, because once I start moving and curving things and getting asymmetrical, then I need to rely on the local symmetry, not the world symmetry. And sometimes the local symmetry doesn't end up lining up where I would want it to. Yep, exactly, Smithy. So like here, let's look at this wire mesh. So see how this mesh is like not, first of all, it's not evenly distributed because you got bigger sections here and tighter sections here. So that's going to cause issues. And then it's also not super detailed. So I'm going to go over here. Whoops, let's select that one. And up it to like 250. And then see how much more detailed and it's all even and smooth. Hey BK, how are you doing? Awesome, I'm glad that helps vision. Oh, that's awesome, Amy. Nomad's super fun. Yay, Grind! I'm glad you found a YouTube channel. Hopefully it helps you. Feel free to like message or comment any questions and stuff you got too. I'm always trying to think of new ideas and new things that y'all want to learn. Appreciate it, BK. Smithy, not, well, yes and no. So I will basically go in, while I'm sculpting in, getting all these details done, I'll up the resolution of all my pieces and stuff as I need to make sure that they all look nice. But then before I export, I will go back in, kind of merge my pieces together, and then I'll go in and decimate the pieces down, which basically means simplify them into a less complicated mesh. And so then that way, when I export this file over to my computer, it's not taking like 10 minutes to like transfer over and then to open and all that, because before I figured out how to decimate things, that's how long it took to transfer all my files over, and it took forever, but I have learned. So I learned these things so that y'all don't have to. This is not Blender, this is Nomad. And Eric, it totally depends on the model and the filament you're using and all that. Aisha, what was your question about the floor? Can you reword that so I can understand it a little bit better? And yeah, I have a Bamboo X1C and P1S printers. Nomad is like 20 bucks. And I don't know, Eric, because it really is just going to depend entirely on what model you're doing, how big it is, how much filament it's going to use, what type of filament you're using. Like, there's so many factors. It could range from like a few cents to like several dollars per model. Nope, unfortunately it cannot print multicolor without purging in between, which is a bummer. Oh yeah, for sure, Eric. I make a ton of different everyday items to help. I just made a paper towel holder yesterday. But again, it's going to depend. There's no like one estimate of how much anything is going to cost. This is Nomad Sculpt. Oh, that's awesome, BK. Did you like the dog nose clickers? This is Nomad Sculpt, Kevik. Oops. And thank you guys that are in here catching the questions that I'm getting slow to. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, grind for sure. It does that. Kevik, this is Nomad Sculpt. Ooh, that's true, Eric. I know my husband has printed some parts for like his RC planes and stuff like that, so I'm sure you could do it for the drones too. On Android, Nomad Sculpt. I think on Android, Nomad Sculpt has a free version, but it's like more of a trial version from what I've heard, which is interesting. Thank you, Jewel. I think that was a question that I asked for clarification on, and I did not see her answer. Because I wasn't sure if she meant like the build plate or like the floor here or... Dan, I'm working in Nomad Sculpt, and I do this specifically for 3D printing. And so 3D modeling in general like this, you could definitely learn kind of the basics of sculpting and stuff in something like Nomad Sculpt. But for more game-oriented stuff, you might want something more like ZBrush or Maya where you can do more like rigging and type stuff like that. That has more of a setup for games. But he could definitely get started with just sculpting and getting used to that with Nomad. This is Nomad Sculpt. Is the major this? It is, I'm going to be printing it in PLA, and it's a pretty, like this is PLA, it's a pretty, and you can kind of hear that, it's a pretty hard plastic. Yeah, it stops me, my glove stops me from accidentally touching the screen, and it also has compression, so it helps support my joints because I have some joint issues. Grind, honestly, this is the first 3D program that I've used. I used a bunch of different 2D art programs before I got Nomad. But Nomad is what I started with for 3D modeling, and I haven't felt the need for anything else to move on to. So it does everything that I've needed it to. I would not print usable cutlery because I tend to stay away from printing things that interact directly with food, because even if, like, a lot of PLA is technically food safe, but a lot of the components within the printer are not. And so that's something like somewhat controversial. Some people will argue with you about that, but personally I don't print anything that I will specifically eat directly from, unless you're going to quote coat it in some type of like food safe resin or something like that. But even then you have to worry about if the PLA of the material will melt if you wash it at high temperatures and things like that. Yeah, for sure, Shell Bunny. Yeah, I didn't find Blender very intuitive either. Yeah, no problem. Oh, Mark. I am working on a long-haired flexi kitty cat. Oh my gosh, dude, yeah, the mouse, like using a mouse pad while doing any type of artwork is so hard on your wrist. Yeah, that's fair, but still, I would not personally trust, you know, the inner grease and different things and other filament scraps and the nozzle touching your cutlery and all things like that. There's so many things that within the internal workings of a 3D printer that I would not want touching anything that is going to go inside my mouth. I started with my own flexi bodies. So all of my flexis, I just start with these little donuts and a circle and go for it. Yep, I am on My Mini Factory. Other than Nomad Sculpt, honestly, like, I've heard, like, Blender I don't find super intuitive, but it is free and it's good for the desktop if you want to work in a desktop versus an iPad tablet. And otherwise, like, Fusion 360 or Tinkercad are great programs for more CAD-based stuff. Like, this is organic sculpting, but as far as, like, other sculpting programs, I don't have personal experience with others, so I couldn't say for sure. My store there is going to be KE Creations, spelled the same way that it's spelled on here. Even coloring coloring models in Bamboo Studio with a mouse is rough, which is why I don't do that anymore. Eric, for like something small like this size, it took about an hour-ish. Yeah, Blender is rough. I did not prefer it. Oh, nice. That's awesome matted. Yes, the tablet is a great option. I also like that I can just take this anywhere with me if I need to. Like if I'm not feeling well and in bed or traveling or whatever, I don't have any issues. So Mark, you gotta make sure when you're exporting a file from Nomad, make sure when you're exporting, I'll export as an OBJ, vertex colors right here, make sure you do RGB or mRGB, just make sure it's not none when you export it. Yes, Johnny, that's a great way to do it. Any type of touchpad or anything with a pen is better for Bamboo Studio than a mouse, honestly. They don't give you the best coloring tools. And Eric, there are several chain models out there. A lot of them, some of them use support, some of them will kind of print the chains like sideways a little bit, so there's pieces of the chain touching the build plate on each side. Nope, you can export directly as an OBJ or STL, and I personally export over to my Google Drive, and then I download the file from my Google Drive and open it directly in Bamboo Studio. Yeah, for sure, no problem. Yes, a long-haired kitty cat. Ooh, awesome, Jewel. Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah, Clove, what's up? My name or the kitty cat's name? Well, BK, everybody has been asking for, you know, she doesn't have a name. I am horrible at naming things. So if y'all think of a name, you let me know. Everybody's been asking for more noses, like noses of different types of animals. So that'll be fun. I still really want to do a turtle because my nephew wants a turtle, even though apparently I cannot model a turtle. So I will be making another attempt at that at some point. Yep, exactly, Clove. That's what I did. So, yes and yes. So with these, I went in and duplicated and then turned it all manually. But one of my friends actually just recently showed me that there is a tool that you can use to like basically duplicate and arrange them automatically for you, which is super cool. But I have not personally played with that a ton yet, other than just like knowing how to do it, basically. So I'm not sure yet how well it will work for like having to get, you know, you have to get pretty precise sometimes about making sure the links don't overlap and scaling and things like that. So I haven't tried it for an actual model yet, but it is on my list of things to give a try because it would be very helpful. Garfield. Call her Fluffy, right? More Kirsten details, I know. Hey, LM. Oh, yeah, dude, I'm always up late. And yep, this is my design. Dude, this is like middle of the day for me. I'm basically nocturnal. Aw, thank you, LM Art. I appreciate it. Amanda, once I finish getting all this sorted and modeled how I want, then I'll send it to test print. I'm using Nomad Sculpt. Yeah, exactly, Clove. So that is going to be the, where is it? Add the, I think it was the curve tool. When I get it sorted and actually give it a try, I'm going to do a tutorial on it because it blew my mind a little bit. But I need to make sure I know what I'm doing first. Oh no, Ref! Yeah, it definitely can take some learning curve. It takes some time. And thank you, LMart. I appreciate it. And a little bit, David. A lot of my models, I kind of have an idea of like what scalability they have because their bases are ones that I've reused. So like this cat, I know will scale down to, you know, 70, 60% of what I will release the scaling at. And then other ones, you know, sometimes I'll test them down or up, or sometimes my beta test team will just go have fun with them and test them at a bunch of different sizes. It sounds good, LM Art. Thanks for stopping by. Hey J-Ray, this is Nomad Sculpt. And I sell the files when I'm done. So I have a Patreon that I release everything on first, and then after a couple months then it will come out publicly for people. Yeah, for sure, Ghost. This is not my first rodeo with Nomad Sculpt. I've been doing this for a little bit. I have not used Shaper 3D. I think I have it downloaded and I played with it like for a day. And then I just haven't gotten back to it, to be honest. The test team is a group of people just from my subscribers that have been around for a while, been active for a while, and are consistent with their activity and kind of feedback and stuff that I'll choose every once in a while. I'll add new ones, but for the most part, we're pretty solid now. Kind of my group of trusted people that are consistent with stuff. Nah, David, you can definitely get into modeling even if you haven't drawn. You may have like a slightly longer learning curve, but you can definitely do it. I know people who have done modeling that don't have our previous art experience. Yeah, for sure, Doug. AJ, this is Nomad Sculpt. It is a $20 one-time fee. It's great. Oh yeah, that's awesome, Howard Prince. Thank you. I'm glad you like them. And yes, exactly, Ghost. Consistency and practice. Exactly, Jewel. Yep, the little ears on my donuts help basically internally support the links on this print. So that way, here, let me go back to where you can kind of see them better. Let's... Yeah, so see how they kind of go down, they pull down like that. So that way when you're printing, your printer has a much sturdier, more gradual grade up there to connect that link versus just trying to come straight out. That's going to be a lot more finicky and cause a lot more issues with printing. Oh, thank you, Raph. I appreciate it. And AJ, I did not go to school for this. I am self-taught. No problem, LPA. The school of jumping in head first. Exactly. Saying YOLO and just trying it. Hey, Sydney. Not necessarily. Sometimes, kind of. I'll kind of usually, if I'm starting like a brand new model, I might make kind of an articulation base of like how my mechanics are going to work, but it doesn't necessarily look like an anatomical skeleton, if that makes sense. It's more a skeleton for the mechanical movement of the whatever I'm printing. And sometimes that does resemble like the skeletal shape, but it's different, you know? Hey, Gia, what's up? The red mold. Oh, with the red, I just color my different pieces, sometimes different colors vision. That makes it way easier if I'm wanting to check and make sure things are overlapping or not. Coloring them different pieces lets me see if they have that overlap going on. For easier versus if they're all the same color. Make a 3D printed mold. Ghost, I actually enjoy all of it. I think, like, I really enjoy the final touches and finishing up, like, the details of a model, making it really come together. But then I also love the final phase of, like, printing it out and, like, feeling it in my hands and having it move and having it function how I wanted it to function is so exciting. And LPA, I usually spend, like, I mean, I just did this guy in stream, finished him in, like, an hour. But that's when I already had a cat base that I was working off of, so a lot of things were not changing. You know, like this orca, I made a brand new sculpt for a couple days ago, and he probably took me maybe 2-3 hours, maybe a little bit more, because he's a shape and animal that I don't do that often. And some models, you know, it takes me an hour or two to put them together and they print fine the first time. Sometimes it takes me a couple hours. Then test printing, sometimes I have to do several different test prints to get them working right. So it varies very, very greatly. Some designs take me like, you know, over weeks to perfect, and some designs just first or second time, it's all good. Benji, this is a Nomad sculpt. And I have done a horse and deer. Hold on, where did my horsey go? Do I have it within reach? My horse is not within reach, but my unicorn is. Oh no, please don't fall. Here's my unicorn. My horse is very similar, but I have a horse, a unicorn, and a pegasus, and also a little family of deer. I have not used ZBrush before, actually, but I have heard from people that do that this is very similar. And yeah, I have a bunch of my prints. Here, let me take you off of the tripod real quick. So I have a bunch of my flexies over here. Obviously I need like shelving and things to organize them because they are a mess right now. I have, you know, my paintbrush holders, my cord holder, little boxes. Ugh, let me turn this way. That is a desk organizer. That is, you know, it's doing its best. My desk is not very organized. Dice tower that just came out today. My owl. And then those are an abundant more of test prints. And then there's more. Look, there's doggy. There's more over there as well. I have them all over my office. Let's see, and what software I'm using and what platform is good for this. Yes, I'm using Nomad Sculpt, and Nomad is what I prefer and what I recommend, so. But it all depends on your preference. Yes, I have an X1C2, and I think it's great. Done clickers. Yep, I have done clickers. Where did they go? I don't have one within hand's reach. I have two. I have a little dragon clicker, a little dog nose, and two little dog clickers. Awesome things. And yes, I make a living doing this. This is my full-time job. Oh yeah, and then David, most of my models, pretty much all of the flexies, can stand up in different poses and stuff like that. Obviously, it's not going to be a very good show because I'm on uneven ground, but yeah, like my dogs and stuff can do like in the play bow position. Oh my gosh, I'm throwing things. I've been modeling for about 2 years. And Hondia, about dimensions with Nomad Sculpt. Basically, dimensions in Nomad Sculpt is weird because they have like a measuring tool and things, but they don't really tell you exactly what measurements you're working with most of the time unless you measure it. Basically for me, like if I'm working on flexi, things like this where the exact dimensions don't really matter, I won't worry about it while I'm sculpting. I'll export it over to my Google Drive, open it in Bamboo Studio, and work from there and just scale it how I feel is right. If I'm working on something like those little clickers that I was doing, or I just modeled a paper towel holder a couple days ago. Oh, here, see this guy. So this guy, I actually went into, I'll actually grab like models from like cylinders or something from Bamboo Studio, Tinkercad, Fusion 360, something like that, with the exact measured dimensions that I know that I need. And then I will pull that over into Nomad Sculpt and work on it from there to make sure, you know, that I make it pretty, but it stays in those dimensions that I need. And yeah, I have to, I'm pretty particular about how I model the different joints and structures and things to hold a certain position. And sometimes that takes a lot of testing because I will, you know, go through several test prints just to help like getting the balance of things right. Like I just did a T-Rex earlier this week that I was working on, and just getting the balance of him was really tricky. So making sure he, you know, because he only has his 2 legs, and he's real top heavy and he has a long tail. So getting that correct angles for get his balance right was very tricky. So it took a lot of test sprints just to get him standing properly, you know. Awesome. Good night, Jewel. Thanks for hanging out. And it does have units, but not in a way that's easy to see as you're working. Like you can use the measurement tool right here, and you can see it'll measure that. This is going to be in millimeters, like 29 millimeters, but it doesn't really show you that as you're working. The tail does a little bit help to support the T-Rex. It helps balance him because he doesn't really stand on his tail with pressure on his tail, but it definitely helps hold his head up. And I go live pretty often, but honestly don't have an exact schedule. Mostly because I have a lot of health issues, and so that makes my scheduling very unpredictable. And so I go live as much as I can, whenever I can sit up at my desk for a long time. But sometimes I do my work from bed or other places, or, some days my brain cannot handle talking to more people and being social on live stream. So I don't, because of those things make it really unpredictable, I don't have an exact schedule, but I do try to get it live, a few times a week. Can I drag construction lines to use for reference? Maybe. Here, hold on. Yeah, so you can leave those lines there, but I don't know how helpful it is. Cylinder, I have some tutorials on Nomad on YouTube if you want to check them out. It might be helpful. Dude, I know. Usually it's so quiet in here. I'm having struggles keeping up with everything. And you can, Toaster. You just got practice. And yes, Cindy, here, let me open up one of my clickers that I've done to show you. Let's see, where did it go? Here's my nose boopy clicker. No, this is the corgi booty. So where is the other half, the top half of that? Here you go. Here we go. So this is the top of that clicker. So it has that section there that pops onto the clicker base, and then this section down here that sticks into it. Uh-oh, come back. Dude, I am working hard. You basically make sure you save them here first. That'll save them to Nomad. And then, come on, do the export down here. And then export as either an OBJ or an STL to send it, to save it as a file that you can import into your print slicer. Mike, this is Nomad Sculpt. And yes, I did measure the switch before I designed the housing for the model. Yeah, that's an example of something that I actually worked on a base in Fusion 360 for it to make sure I had the right measurements, and then put it into, gosh, my brain. Then pulled it into Nomad to make it look pretty. No problem, Vampire. Organizers and stuff are cool. Thank you, Leo, for catching those questions. I appreciate you. No problem, Sydney. Thanks for hanging out. My workflow for 3D printing is basically just sculpt it in here, export it over into Bamboo Studio, and then from there I will slice off the bottoms of my prints so that they can print flat from the build plate, make sure that I don't have any non-manifold edges, and then send it to print. That's pretty much it. Save it as an STL file once the printing finishes. once I'm sure that I like it. What do you mean, what slice is best for a bamboo lab, Vampire? No worries, David. Thank you. I appreciate the acknowledgement. I'm doing my best. It sounds good, LPA. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I'm using the 2021 iPad Pro. Thank you, Vision. So, actually, this is one that my husband made for me. Because I was like, I need a thing that does this, that I could snap it into place, and it moves like this. And it's easy to print and really sturdy. And he was like, I got you. Because he's a magician, so... I like bamboo slicer, but orca slicer is also great. And like, to be honest, they're almost exactly the same. So it really just depends on your personal preference. Awesome, sounds good, David. Thanks so much for hanging out. Yes, dude, he is a mechanical wizard. He does all sorts of things that are amazing. He's the one that got me into doing this in the first place. Did I not tell you that? Like, he's the one that taught me how the 3D printing and all the things work. But a lot of my mechanics that are more complex, he helped me figure out and troubleshoot beforehand, before I started integrating them. Awesome, Julian. I appreciate it. That's awesome, Toaster. I don't mind the Bamboo update because I only ever use Bamboo Studio with the Bamboo products, so it doesn't honestly affect me. So I got no strong feelings on it either way. I just am continuing to do what I've always done. I just print stuff and test stuff and design stuff. Basically, Vision, I've used it on some of my other models. Hold on, let me see if I can find one. Oh, here. So this is this joint. So it goes in. Hold on. It slides in like that. So see, there's kind of a slot in this part at a certain angle that makes it easier to slide in. So it slides in and then it can rotate like that. Yeah, I like it. It's one that I've been using a lot lately since he made it for me. It is so good. It prints easy, it's solid. that's awesome. Oh, the bamboo printer's toaster. Yes, agreed, toaster. I love the bamboos. Ooh, nice toaster. Oh, thanks, Downpouring Printing. I am just self-taught, honestly. I just decided that I wanted to make a flexi one day after seeing my husband print them. And he helped me with mechanics and some things like that. And then I just opened Nomad and figured it out. And test printed and failed so many times until I figured out how it worked. It's a lot of testing for tolerances. A lot of my models, like with my flexis and stuff, I've pretty much gotten used to like how different tolerances look for how they're gonna feel, which kind of drives my husband crazy because he really prefers much more precise tolerances and things if he's working on something. And so if you want that real precision, I would go work on something in like Fusion 360, Tinkercad, things like that that do allow for those really precise measurements, and you could actually bring that over into Nomad to work on it that way. Yeah, see, exactly. I don't do math either. And just I tell everybody, I'm like, listen, I just work off of vibes. Like, I just gotta get the right vibe and the right feel and hope that it works out. I do other stuff as well, Julian. I do a lot, like this one that I'm working on right now is going to be a puppet. He does have a flexi body, but, and you'll see like these boxes back here are 3D printed, are my designs. I have a pencil holder, desk organizer, bookends. I do all sorts of fun stuff. Yay, thank you, Vision. Yeah, the puppets are so fun. Everything. Dude, Vision, the paper towel holder, finished test printing, and it's perfect. And I'm so glad because it's such a big print. I really did not want to get the scaling off and have to print it multiple times. You don't necessarily, I mean, being artistic helps, but you can still make functional stuff and pretty stuff with just practice. Exactly, yep. It's actually only a 9-hour print though on my bamboo. Like, because I ended up, I'll show you the finished version again. I ended up kind of compressing it so that it has pretty thin walls to get, to print. So it's actually not a ton of material, but it still is big enough. It basically maxes out the build plate, but a lot of it is empty space. On the P1S, yep. Well, actually, technically not on the P1S. I always try to make my models a maximum of 220 millimeters because that is like a more standard plate size for like the enders and stuff like that, because the bamboos can actually do larger build plates. I think they're like 256 millimeters. So I try to make sure most of the stuff I make fits within that 220 millimeter scale. Hey there, RC. Thank you so much. And customs, I have a P1S. I actually have 2 P1Ss and 1 X1C. 2 P1S. That would be the third one. Technically, we have a Prusa, but we don't ever use it anymore. But that's what I started out designing on. Ooh. Okay. So, and I need to put this piece over. Okay, what else is I going to work on? Ooh, nice. Yeah, I've heard really great things about the A1. Yep, this is for 3D printing. Ender 5 Plus that you never use, yep. I feel like most people, when they go to bamboos, they have like that extra printer that never gets any use anymore. Oh, nice, Leo. Yeah, that's a good idea. Hand it off to somebody else who's new and can learn. Oh my gosh, Bosa. Look at him. He got a sploot so he can print properly, so his joints move the right way. Okay, so we're gonna turn this sloth into a koala bear. And I picked the sloth because I think this has the most similar anatomy / posing, like kind of joint mechanisms that I'm gonna want for the koala. Camaro, I'm using Nomad Sculpt. You know, let's all just smooth out his whole head. Some moderators, I know, honestly. It's not usually this busy. Besides, usually some of you regulars who are in here kind of like volunteer and answer the questions for me. It has slowed down, but yeah, it has been popping today. Yeah, it was really going for a second there, and I was like, oh boy. I was like, help, I can't catch up. Well, y'all got my back, so that definitely helps. Please ignore how creepy he's going to look for a second until I get this sorted. Trust the process, exactly. Hey, Custom Creations. Yes, you're new here. Yes, I appreciate it, Vision. Yeah, Doug, y'all are great. Y'all are the MVPs. You know, I never really thought about how big a koala's forehead is. Yep, I have a bunch. So, like, I have a desktop computer over here. And whenever I'm working on a new animal like this, especially like koala's a weird animal. I'm not as familiar with their anatomy and facial structure and stuff like that as I am with a cat. And so he definitely requires reference photos. Because I look at the front of their faces, but since it's 3D, I also have to look for side profile pictures. So I have to scour for all sorts of angles. There's a side profile. Yeah, because see, the side profile is going to look different than what you expect sometimes. The software is Nomad Sculpt in iPad, 2021 iPad Pro. And I'm I'm doing this project for work, Steve. This is my full-time job, is designing these type of things. Oh, thanks, Sonny. Lots and lots of practice. You get there. Thanks, Steve. And so I'm self-employed. I do run my own business. And so basically I design everything for 3D printing. And so people who 3D print, you know, will buy my individual files just for printing for fun, for their hobby or whatever, or I license my designs to people who print for like their shops and things like that and want to go sell them in stores or fairs, things like that. Oh, thanks for the gifts, guys. And your job is to pay me. Yes, thank you. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, thanks, Steve. I really enjoy it. I'm really thankful that this is what I get to do. That I got these awesome guys to help support me so I can do this. Jimmy, this is Nomad Sculpt. Yay! I'm so glad to hear that. That's always the best. I mean, I always appreciate all of y'all's support no matter what, but it always makes me so happy when I hear that, like, my designs are also helping support y'all and that your customers like them too, because otherwise it's like, what is the point of subscribing to me? But you know, like, maybe you just like my art and you just want to use it for personal use too, which is great. But a lot of y'all I know are also making this your business, so. Yay, that's awesome, Doug. And Toaster, basically how I do like requests and stuff is I let Patreon members put in suggestions, and each month I do a couple models based off of those suggestions. I'll take the suggestions and then I'll put them in a poll for everybody to vote on, and then I'll do a couple of those a month. But I don't typically do like just random requests unless someone suggests something that just really catches my fancy. Then I'll be like, oh yeah, like that sounds interesting. So like I always tell people they're always welcome to give me ideas. I don't ever make any guarantees. Oh, thanks, Vision. And Jimmy, my Patreon is KE Creations, spelled the same way here, 3D. It is also in my link tree in my bio, if that is easier. Y'all, I knew this was going to happen. I knew I was going to start working on a koala and immediately regret it because their faces are so freaking weird. But now we're here. Now I'm in it. We're determined. That's a murder bear, right? Exactly. He's horrifying looking. Don't judge him. He's having a hard time, okay? See, now I'm committed, exactly. But he's not cute. I think he's horrifying, but he will, you know, we trust the process. He will one day be cute. Oh my gosh, not that one. Oh my gosh, Wicked, you're so right. They are horrifying. Do you know they're also like fairly dangerous animals too, because they carry a lot of like toxins and diseases and stuff. They're so cute, but you don't want to cuddle them unless they're like have been raised in like a safe place with humans, because otherwise who knows, like they get all sorts of weird stuff. Oh, that's awesome, Jimmy. Very cool. Oh, not that one, this one. Magic bean, awesome. Good to know. You know, that is not the look I'm wanting. Okay, let's go back here. Let's give him eyelids like this. Yeah, that's a better look. Yes, exactly, Doug. Now he looks like an old man. It's okay. We're gonna get there. It's gonna be okay. Maybe he is. True. You know, I don't know his life. Thanks for the gifts. I appreciate it. I'm just self-taught, honestly. I watched some YouTube videos and did a lot of trial and error and experimenting and test printing and playing around with different tools, figuring out how they work. I really liked Southern GFX's tutorials on YouTube. I now have some tutorial series, not series, but tutorial videos on YouTube that you can look into. But someone like Southern GFX, he has some more comprehensive tutorial series. Hey, I use a Bamboo P1S and X1C. The print bed for those guys is 256 by 256, I want to say. Oh my gosh, no, we are not talking about sleeping in jeans tonight. Who was it that I was talking to a couple nights ago? I feel like I've talked to several people in like real life who have talked about this, and I think it's ridiculous. I'm like, what do you mean you sleep in your jeans? Yeah, the P1S is, I want to say, about 600, and the X1C is like 1200, I think. But like, I'm gonna be honest, the P1S does almost exactly the same thing as the X1C, and it is half the price. That is why I have two of those and only one X1C. So I definitely recommend getting the P1S first, like instead of the X1C. Tasha and some guy, that's right. I think it was a freaking Bensky. I cannot believe it. Hey, Snowcats, how are you doing? See, he's like starting to look like a koala now, at least. Instead of a creepy old man. Hey, Tech and Unicorns. How are you doing? Thank you, Vision. See, I told you we'd get here. It just was it had to be a little bit of a struggle. I'm glad you're doing good. Well, or at least you're fine. Snowcats, I'm doing pretty good. This one is actually the drag tool. It gives me a little bit more control over kind of the direction of where I'm placing the texture versus the stamp here. Like here's a stamp, whereas that's mostly gonna go straight from the out like that. I don't know if that makes any sense. Oh, thanks, Ants and Jimmy. Yes, dude. Okay, so almost any of the tools, like you can duplicate and make and add like an alpha to. It's crazy. This is Nomad Sculpt. Ooh, yay, that's awesome, Pure Magical. Yes, exactly. So many options. All the options. Thanks, Toaster. Oh, yay, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Hopefully it does good for you. that's awesome. I'm glad you like the dice towers. Yeah, so you were probably one of the people that have been waiting for a dice tower for a little bit since I haven't come out with one recently. Yup. Oh, thanks. This is Nomad Sculpt. Troll, this is Nomad Sculpt. Oh, that's awesome, Pure Magical. Well, feel free to ask me any questions that you think of. I'm happy to try and help if I can. Oh, thanks, George. I appreciate it. It sounds good, Snowcats. So see you later. Thanks for stopping in. Usually anything, you want to kind of print with like a 45-degree angle or less for most overhangs. I don't pay attention to exact angles when I'm working. I've just over time, I kind of have an intuitive feel for how much overhang I can kind of push. So it's something that you can kind of get the hang of and used to and feeling out, but usually 45 degrees is a pretty safe bet. Yes, George. They have to, like, this one I use specifically is the Apple Pencil, so it's made for the tablet that I work with. But there are off-brand pens that you can get that I'm not sure how well they work, but yeah, you have to have a stylus that is in some way compatible with whatever tablet you're using. Severus? What do you mean? And I might do an axolotl. I've actually been thinking about putting that in my, one of my model polls for people to vote on. Oh, thank you for the heart. I appreciate it. Because I haven't done one yet, honestly, because they are so popular. Everybody has done one. But I also know that a lot of people like them, so I might see, you know, if people want one. I would have your vote. Awesome. Hey, Phoenix, how you doing? Tired boots. This will be a new release. So it's gonna be a little koala. I mean, let's be honest, even the things that I do for fun, I end up releasing. Yay, thanks. I'm glad you like it. I use a Bamboo P1S and X1C printers. George, I actually did not go to school for this. I just, you know, self-taught and doing my best. And honestly, Pure Magical, it really depends on, like, what type of mechanic you're wanting to work on. Because, you know, different types of links are good for different types of movement, anatomy, things like that. So I wouldn't say that there's, like, one exact set way that I like to do things, you know? Exactly, so many different choices. For sure. Yep, I actually have several tutorials up on how I use this, George. My favorite like joint type or my favorite flexi? Flexi, Let me think. The tiger is one of my favorites. He ended up really cool. And I love the hummingbird and the kitsune. I have a hard time choosing my favorite. It's like choosing my favorite child. The tiger, yes. She's one of my favorites. I love her. Especially printing her with Lisa Frank colors. Oh, my favorite. Oh, thanks, Pure Magical. Yes, there's so many. I feel like sometimes every time I come out with a new one, I'm like, this is my favorite now. Oh, that's awesome, Pure Magical. Got one of the dragons dice tower. Yay! That's awesome. I will definitely keep your printers busy at least, if that's what you're looking for. awesome, Jello Dragon. The hard thing is choosing which one to print, exactly. I mean, if it makes you feel better, I also have a hard time choosing what things to model, so the decision paralysis is mutual. Yes, exactly, Lou. Yes, so many ideas. Yeah, you should get into modeling. It's so fun to be able to bring your own ideas to life. You just gotta learn. Nope, everything that I'm using right now is just the basic, included in the basic Nomad. Yes, exactly. Pure magical. Thanks for the gifts, guys. I appreciate you. Puppy, why are you crying? Huh? Yes, totally. Well, feel free to ask questions and stuff, or even message me questions if you think of any. Hey there. So, funny, this is a sloth at first. I mean, this was a sloth, and I am turning him into a koala. Since they have a little bit similar mechanics, I took my model. And instead of restarting from scratch, I'm just editing him a bit. See, when you see his face, you can see the koala. But from the back, his other back foot still looks like a sloth. This is Nomad Sculpt. Yes, vision. Listen, this is something that I just recently started using, and I've like known in my brain that it was here, but I didn't really think to use it. This button over here. Wait, hold on. Let me see. This select button right here, over in the top corner here, gives you a pin, a lasso, where you can select things and unselect things. It's magical. It makes it so much easier. Awesome. Sounds good, Toaster. Get some good rest, and hopefully you have a good day at work tomorrow. And Big Hustler, I have some tutorials on this one. If you want to give them a look and ask any questions or whatever, if you're looking to learn Nomad. Thanks, Vision. You have a good night, too. Thanks, big hustlers. And yep, it's a program you have to pay for, but only $20. Yeah. Thank you, Doug. Honestly, Sarah, just mainly a lot of trial and error. It just kind of takes time to get the feel for how much spacing is needed between those joints to feel good. Oops. Oh my gosh, guys, why do I feel like things are not working? No, there we go. I lost at the same time. Oh no. But see, this is why you gotta watch the tutorials that go a little bit slower. See, I'm confused now as to what the heck is happening right now. Let's save this, because I'm confused. Why does that keep... Are we good now? Why does it keep going to the smooth every time I change a tool? I don't like that. That's just rude. Y'all, I feel like I'm going crazy right now. What is happening? Did I lock something on accident? If you're confused, we have no chance. Yes, exactly, Sarah. Yeah, it's really just about getting like the feel for it. It takes a while. I'm just self-taught. If I could figure out what I'm doing, please. Why are you doing this to me? have any idea what I did? I can't figure out what the heck is going on. I might just here. Hold on. We're gonna save it. Self-zooming, oh my gosh. Okay, here, we're gonna close that. You know, like turn it off and on again, right? Yeah, see, that worked. Turn it off and on again. I have no idea what that was, but it's okay, we're back. Glitch in the Matrix, honestly. Yes, it is a lot of stuff open. Thanks, Turkey. I appreciate it. It is a koala bear. There we go, his face. Yes, for sure, Vision. Do it. Oops. Close though. Hey, this is Nomad Sculpt. And you're not a dum-dum. He is technically called a koala bear. I do need to do a panda though. That is on my list actually. Oh my gosh, dude. That's the kind of stuff I do all the time. Ooh, jellyfish and rainbow fish. That'll be awesome. I have not yet, but jellyfish is on my list. Those are so pretty. I've been thinking about a seahorse recently and like what kind of print orientation I would do it in to accommodate that body structure. I have one video about how to do sculpting like a face and stuff. Most of it is more technical, like the different joints and using different tools and stuff like that. I should do more videos on like how to do faces and stuff, but honestly, I am not sure how. Cause like, I don't know, I just look at things and I just move things around and like, I don't know how to explain the steps that I'm using, you know, cause part of it is just like, I've been drawing animals for all my life. So part of it is just that knowledge. I'm not quite sure how to break that down. But if you have like specifics that you would like to know, let me know. Because specifics are a little bit easier for me to work with and do tutorials and stuff around. Hey Brandon, how you doing? Awesome. Sounds good. What is it, puppy? Is it almost time for puppy to go out and eat dinners? Yeah, it's getting close. Hold on, I'm almost done. It is 1:42 a.m. here. But like we are nocturnal household, so we eat and do things very late. Including my doggies are not on a typical schedule. It sounds good, Lou. Thanks for hanging out. I'll talk to you later. Hey, Alfredo. This is Nomad Sculpt. Oh, nice, Big Hustlers. East Coast peeps. Nope, just we are just operating on weird times, you know. Thanks, Brandon. And this is Nomad Sculpt. I'm super glad that it's finally identifiable as a koala bear, because there was a big phase there where it was not. But we got there, it's okay. Nomad Sculpt is the software. No problem. Yep. Yes, sir. Sir. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Stop harassing me. I'm almost done. Okay, then we'll go. They did look like a grumpy old man for a bit. Yep. Almost done with the koala. Just about finished with this guy. I may end up coming back and redoing how I have his feet, but I'm gonna print him and see how it looks. Yay, thank you. I'm glad you think so. All right. I think I'm gonna stop this guy here and go get him sliced and ready to test sprint and go take care of my doggies, because obviously, you know, they're being extremely neglected according to Cal. So yeah, I know. So I'm gonna go take care of that, get this test printed, and I will hopefully be back on again maybe sometime tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday, I believe. So yeah, hopefully tomorrow evening or some other time this week. But I appreciate all of you. Thank you for hanging out so much. And when we do this, they print them full. And I'll print this as a full piece, but I'll print him small to help save filament since he's a print and place model. Oh my gosh, zebra cakes 3D printed. Zebra cakes really take me back. Those are so great. But yeah, I'm gonna head out and get some sleep, get some rest, get some tests going. Hopefully y'all have a good rest of your night or day, whatever time it is where you're at. And thank you for hanging out, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.